Right then, guys, Squiddy back here again. Another video for compression of depression. So today's subject, as you might have seen, is overthinking. Now, call it what you will, overthinking, overanalyzing, even worrying too much, whatever it might be. But it is a horrible, horrible thing. Um, as you might tell, I've had my fair share of experiences with it, and it's really not a fun thing to have going on if it's something that you tend to deal with or even suffer with, if you like. And basically, like in my experiences with it, a big trigger of it is when there's something going on that you don't know the answer to almost. So, for example, um, at the moment, I've been signed off work due to medical reasons. So I remember basically what happened. I had a seizure while I was driving, had a car crash, and basically they don't know what the causing the seizures. I mean, I'm type 1 diabetic, and they've said it's nothing to do with that. Doing all sorts of tests and things like that to try and find out what's going on. I remember about 2 months after it, I was having a 3 month review for a company I'd not long joined. I would have had it regardless of having the crash or whatever, but because of having the accident, all I could think was, are they going to let me go? Are they going to keep me on the payroll and things like this? And it's that idea of being sort of stuck in limbo that was really triggering me off, overthinking things, worrying about things that hadn't necessarily happened yet. And you get yourself in all sorts of states. It can affect your sleeping pattern. Um, you keep thinking about it as you're trying to sleep, and when you're trying to sleep, it's never a good thing because the more you try, the less it will happen, kind of thing. And if your mind's going crazy about what's happening at work or relationships, whatever it might be, that you're sort of stuck in limbo over, you're not going to get to sleep and you're not going to feel as relaxed as you need to be, and it can get you in all sorts of states. So basically, in my sort of experiences with anxiety and depression and things, I remember when it first started happening, or when I first came to terms with it, I got into something called well-being matters, which is kind of like just sitting down with someone, talking about what's going on and letting it out basically. And one of the real big pieces of advice that I took from it was he kind of said to me, if there's a problem that you can solve then and there, or an issue or something that needs to be done then and there at that time, do it, get it out of the way. So if it's like, if you've got some paperwork you need to fill in and send off, don't just think, oh, I've got until the end of the month, I'll do it then. Just do it then and there, and it's done and it's gone. If it's something you're worrying about that hasn't happened yet, you shouldn't really be worrying about it. So if you're just putting up a sort of idea in your head of what could happen, if it hasn't happened, try not to get it in your head. I know that's easier said than done, but it just really stuck with me that if it is a problem that can be solved, solve it. Get it off your mind. You won't have to think about it anymore because it's done. And then if it's something that hasn't happened, then if it isn't happening, then why should you give it a second thought? Why should you let it sort of beat you or get you down and things like this? But as I say, it's something that's a lot easier said than done, so it's not always going to be a straight fix, but it's something that really helped me. Another sort of bit of advice I got was, I don't know if there's a certain name for it or if this is right or something, but it's kind of like the 5 cents rule or the 5 cents idea. So basically, once something comes into your mind, a negative thought, because sometimes it can just be something that you've put out of your mind for years and years, and then all of a sudden it will just pop in for a minute or whatever while you're watching an ad break or something like that. And if something like that does happen and you do get negative thoughts just pop in, it's, they say, have the 5 cents idea. So it's, find something you can see, think of something you can smell, think of something you can hear, and it will take, you're thinking about looking for these things and smelling these things, listening to these things, and then all of a sudden you've forgotten about whatever that negative thought was because you've thought about something else. Another thing I tend to do, which is more for if you're struggling to sleep, and it's something I've done a lot of, is, it sounds a bit silly, but is the alphabet game. So one thing is, if there's something on your mind really getting to you, as I say, something at work, maybe a relationship or whatever, just start thinking about the alphabet game. Think about a subject and think about something beginning with every letter, like A, B, C, D, obviously. Something of that. So, like, I don't know, think of like actors. So, A, Ben Affleck, think of their second name. B, Marlon Brando. And then you just keep thinking and thinking and thinking like that. And then eventually your mind just drifts off and forgets what it is you're worrying about, what it is you're trying to think of with this game. And eventually you'll find that you do fall asleep. So, if you don't want to do it with the alphabet, sometimes you can even do it with your initials and your name. So, sounds a little bit silly, but it has helped me in a big way as well. But the main thing with all of this, if you do start overthinking about things, is try and keep yourself motivated or occupied. So get into other things, get into like even like craft works, get a creative outlet on the go. Start looking into like drawing or knitting or something, like something my mum does a lot of, or even like learn an instrument, learn something new, do research into things, just keep yourself occupied. When you've If you find like a new hobby and things like this, then it can get you into new goals and keep you motivated and occupied on something else. And then whatever it is that you do kind of overthink or worry about too much, it won't happen that often because you're occupied in something else. You're always busy doing something and your mind doesn't let these negative thoughts come in. So just a few little ideas there of how you can stop overthinking, how you can beat it, and basically just giving you a few warning signs about it. So as I said in every video, and I'll keep saying it, like this one, share it, subscribe to it. Give me any feedback. I've had a few messages come in recently, and I tell you what, it has really hit home. It's really driving me to keep doing more of these videos and really wanting to help out. So if you do have any feedback, please, positive or negative, whatever it is, message and comment me. And as I say, like this video, subscribe to it, and I'll keep doing more, and I'll see you again, guys. Cheers.